Hello and welcome to the Trending Now podcast for this Friday, December the 20th, 2024. It is our last show of the year. I'm Louie Butko, and thank you for joining us as we recap the week that was on Trending Now, and really the year that was on Trending Now, which you can catch every Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. 11:30 on CHCH, CHCH.com, and streaming live on our Trending Now YouTube page. Want to get right into it with a woman who was not supposed to be sitting here today, that being Emily Tayler. Manisa Danabalan, who I always, the past month, have started this show with just such high praise for the work she's done on the last few weeks. You were sick for a while. Everybody's really there's been something going through this newsroom. Still giving Manisa her props. Feel better, but gonna give you some props now too. Stepping up last couple of days, and producing, anchoring. First of all, welcome. We haven't had you on the show in a while.
No, it's been a minute.
Yeah. Which is great because we got a lot to catch up on. So let's start in January. What was your favorite? Well, really, let's start with the biggest story. And he was the Time Magazine's People of the Year. Again, no surprise. 2024 was the year of Donald Trump. And it really feels like we've been halfway through the decade of Donald Trump, and that's probably true for just the last 12 months of the year with things that have happened. He's been charged criminally. He's had a mugshot taken, and then he went on and won the damn thing. What a year. Even as a journalist, what have you made of the Trump train in this past 12 months?
That's a great question. I think that I am surprised but not surprised is my biggest takeaway from this year. Every single thing that happened, I would be shocked and I can't believe you'd say that, do that, whatever it is. And then I would go, no, actually, you know what? I'm not surprised at all because we know exactly who he is. He has not been shy about who he is. And he's the same person he was back in his 2016 term. So, surprised, but not surprised.
He's the same person he's always been. And, it's funny because you'll watch these shows like Friends and they'll name drop Trump. Or you'll watch The Office and they'll name drop Trump. And he's always been this person who's been in the headlines. And it's just been impossible to get rid of him.
You know what? Part of my 2 weeks off during the time that I had pneumonia, I rewatched all of Sex and the City, and he has a cameo, which I completely forgot about.
It's Christmas season. People are probably watching Home Alone and then Home Alone 2. And now we're talking 96. I mean, this guy's really been everywhere. And I think that goes back to what you were saying about being surprised, but not surprised. And it's just the way he won, I guess. I'm, again, not surprised because it was always neck and neck. And for the last few elections, they've undercounted Trump supporters.
Polling has always been under for Trump.
And then he went and he did the thing in one night. No legal challenges.
We thought it was going to take days, weeks, months even. I think I was surprised, though, by the demographics that elected him. I think a lot of people were, especially the young male vote. And I'm not surprised that they didn't vote for Harris, but this is a group that traditionally undervotes. And in so many states, it was for Trump. And is that an Elon Musk effect? Is that a Joe Rogan effect? Those are all in play.
I would have to say Joe Rogan played a huge role. He went on I hate I'm even saying this.
Sorry, I made it. Say it.
The Logan Paul podcast, I believe. He did the Nelk Boys. He did literally every interview as opposed to Kamala Harris, who was very protected. And I think the one thing people forget is that Kamala Harris ran the quickest presidential, the fastest, the shortest, whatever word you want to use, presidential campaign in the history of politics. We've proven that the campaigns don't need to be this long. Because we're already going to be talking about, who's going to run for the Democrats in 2028. That story's happening. How do you see the next 12 months of Trump playing out? Do you expect a more chaotic scene than the first 12 months? 2016 was so long ago, 2017, excuse me. But it seems like he has less guardrails in place, less established politicians. And just based on his cabinet picks, I'm expecting chaos.
I think it comes down to cabinet picks. I think you're right exactly in that. He's not picking people who are at all qualified in what they are now in charge of doing. He's picking yes men and yes women and people who are simply going to agree with him or who paid a lot of money to be standing next to him. Cough, cough, Elon Musk, who's not an elected official, but is now, we're talking, he's involved in these talks of the budget shutdown, potential government shutdown. There's people calling for him to be the Speaker of the House, which you don't need to be an elected official for, but like in my humble opinion, you should be, and has really, really inserted himself in there. No political background, no financial background, no government politics background, like nothing of the sorts. Just has a lot of money and is willing to give it to someone like Trump, and then jump up alongside him and shout
starfish.
and the starfish.
The starfish.
That was my favorite meme
An
of this year.
iconic image of 2024. Like, yeah. Sorry, TV.
Yeah.
My question just yelled at me because I hit the TV. Yeah, so where does Kamala Harris go from here? She kind of spoke for the first time this week. We heard her said, I'm not going anywhere. She made light of her viral moment. Yeah, that was me type thing. You did the thing. Again, in all other circumstances, she came within, a percentage point of the popular vote.
Yeah.
A couple percentage points of the popular vote. Is she the Democratic darling? She never really was before this.
No.
Does she go into the background like most vice presidents who run for president eventually do? Like, is history going to repeat itself here?
Look, I have a very specific idea for what I think the Democrats should do at this point, and it's that they need to fight fire with fire. I think that we have Trump, who has, as we've just talked about, no guardrails. He's not held to the same standard of having a political background or even being held accountable for what he says. Like, he can just promise anything he wants, and if it doesn't happen, it was part of his negotiation tactics, whatever. The Democrats need to pick their favorite celebrity Democrat and put them in charge. We're talking like Matthew McConaughey, who is an anti-gun advocate, or George Clooney, who's been a long-time Democratic voter. Like, they need to pick their favorite palatable celebrity and put them in charge.
Not a 78-year-old man, because that hasn't worked for the last two times.
No, and not a politician. No one from their establishment, no one who is currently a Democratic politician is ever going to be able to beat someone like Trump, because he just changed the game in politics. And I think at this point, we need to stoop to that level. Like the Democrats need to stoop to that level.
Popularity.
And just pick someone popular. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Let's see if they take your advice in 2025. Emily, I know you're still getting ready for today's show. Again, thrown at this pretty last minute, so I'll let you go do that.
Thank you.
Thanks for making the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Louie.
All right, speaking of the Trump administration, it's not sworn in quite yet, but already causing some headache. We mentioned the government shutdown there. Well, House Speaker Mike Johnson says Republicans had reached a consensus on a deal to fund the government, but he provided no details on its contours. He said, quote, "We have a unified Republican conference. There's unanimous agreement in the room that we need to move forward. I will not telegraph to you the specific details of that yet, because I've got a couple of things I got to wrap up in a few moments." So he is still committed that a government shutdown will not happen. We will watch this space and see if it does. But Donald Trump doubling down, saying he doesn't care if there's going to be a shutdown, which is strange, but says it'll be a Biden shutdown despite the fact that there was a deal in place. All right. Let's talk. Let's continue talking topics of 2024. Jason Gaidola is here.
Funny.
What's up, man?
How are you?
Oh, it's great, man. Last show of the year.
It is the last show of the year. It's hard to believe because it's we're so busy, and then all of a sudden it's like boom, it's here.
Yeah. I know you got some time off next week, so you got a couple more shifts to get through before you get a few days off until the big day. So before you do that, my story tonight, my pack tonight, is about Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Where are you when it comes to Aaron Rodgers? Is he a GOAT? Is he a greatest of all time? Is he?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. But
he's a four-time MVP, Super Bowl champ.
I think the thing with Rodgers is that it's amazing how the trajectory of his career has shifted, going from he was actually beloved, beloved by even the media. They were so friendly. It was he was a champion of progressivism and all that stuff, and they gave him the benefit of the doubt, right? It was really Tom Brady that was kind of taking some hits at some point of his career, and Rodgers was the darling, and now all of a sudden, ever since COVID, boy, those roles really changed, and now he's constantly going through a barrage of
my pack tonight. My pack tonight. Ryan Clark and him escalated the war of words this week, and I just love the fact that here we are in 2024, about to be 2025. I was about to say Donald Trump, but Aaron Rodgers still attacking people over vaccination status.
Right.
Pretty funny. That was one of the Aaron Rodgers versus everybody is always a big story. The world of sports this year, the Dodgers, loading up. Like what stood out to you? And
the Dodgers was a good one because, and I know baseball is just kind of hung at the wayside a little bit. It's still got its following, made a pretty good comeback after some lagging years. Yep. But no, the World Series, despite everyone not wanting it to go to, people wanting it to go to 7 games, it was still a compelling series. We just probably witnessed the greatest season ever by a baseball player, and it's like it wasn't secondary news, but it didn't have the hype. If this was like 50 years ago, it would be huge.
What was it? The 3 home run game to get it? The whole Shohei Ohtani thing last year, that was the last 12 months. Blue Jays fans have been through it. Lost Ohtani, lost Soto.
Crazy.
That's obviously big. And just the fact it was Yankees, Dodgers, I thought was a huge, two major markets.
I'm sure MLB was always hoping for that. Can we please get an LA, New York?
Speaking about the league being happy, Kansas City Chiefs repeated as Super Bowl champions. That, of course, can be one of the big headlines of 2024 in the world of sports. Do they make it a three-peat? I'll put you on the spot on that one.
I wouldn't count it out. I mean, even if Patrick Mahomes is playing with one leg,
he's playing today. Not even an injury this week. Sorry, not even an injury designation. Yeah, and then they got a quick turnaround. Right, they play tomorrow, Saturday, and then right again on Christmas Day. So Saturday to Wednesday.
The Chiefs are, after watching winning teams. Sometimes teams win so much, and if they stay on top of being good and being focused, it's almost the moment just doesn't faze them. And no matter how bad things are going, they're always in the game. They're just in the game, and they just kind of stay in the game. They don't let it collapse. They don't overkill. They're just in the game, and the Chiefs just keep hanging in there. And as the game's on the line, then that's was Mahomes okay, I'm gonna end this thing. Boom, touchdown. And they do it again every week. Yeah. It's always something every week. It's they are the new Patriots.
Yeah. Oh, the blocked field goals, the Patriots, doinks. Everything.
Yeah, because everyone thought back in the day that the Patriots are getting all these breaks. They just find a way to keep winning games, and now we're seeing that with the Chiefs. I guess you can say they are either they are a dynasty or they're dynastic.
If they make it to a third straight, we're talking about the and again, it's not going to get the headlines even on this show, but even the Toronto Argonauts winning a Grey Cup as major underdogs, and the the Blue Bombers, and their struggles. And then the NBA. Who won the NBA? I don't even remember that. Boston had a great year. Won the NBA.
Boy, the NBA is not doing too well.
Who won
these
the NBA
days. Cup?
Yeah, the Bucks. Yeah. So, but Shea named first team. Good old Hamilton boy.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the. I know I'm looking ahead to 2025,
why not?
But
it's our show. We can do what we want.
Shea he's definitely the front runner for MVP, and I think it's gonna be one in terms of a Hamilton moment. This will be one of the great Hamilton moments if he takes home with that MVP, because I always thought for years. I grew up in the inner city. There was a lot, as much as Hamilton's a football city, there's a lot of basketball history here too as well. And what a moment it would be to see somebody win an MVP.
You think about
Hamilton.
The kid playing on the courts at the downtown YMCA. This is a guy who played on the outdoor courts, like you said, inner city Hamilton kid. Would be one of the great stories, and something to look forward to 2025. Someone who's not going to have a great 2025, who's having a really terrible end to 2024. Real quick, Justin Trudeau. Pierre Poilievre today saying we need to recall the government. But Trudeau made absolutely zero friends in 2024, it seems, and is going to have a lot of challenges going into the new year.
It's all predictable. 9 years is a long time, and it's just I think of that old saying. You ever watch I don't know if it was The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises. It's either you die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Harvey Dent who said that, right?
Dark Knight. And I think that's what I'm seeing from Justin Trudeau is that I don't think I think he's been a little bit overrated as a prime minister personally. This is not coming from a dislike, but I think at the beginning there was a lot of momentum when he started in 2015, but as the years went on, I think the government just got a little too laxed. And what it's really highlighting is that I think this is a problem with our federal government for many, many years, no matter what administration you're talking about. Because I really believe national security should be a top election issue, and it probably will be. Considering what's happening with Trump, but
you don't think axe the tax should be the election?
Affordability is definitely, but I just think I'm not really buying into the slogan thing.
His release today, Pierre Poilievre saying we need to call an axe the tax election. That's what he's going. Like, he's going to say it another million times.
Yeah,
he was on
of course,
CHCH, said it a million times yesterday. Like, is that what we're going to hear? Is that going to be the slogan of 2025? Is Axe the Tax?
I thought it was a slogan of 2024.
So right here,
well, we were joking.
Polyev was the Canadian Press Newsmaker of the Year for the second year in a row. So I mean, he's doing something to stay in the headlines.
Yeah.
There's
he's campaigned really well. The thing I think he's going to be put to the test in 2025, just for the simple factors. I understand, like, he's starting to get asked like platform questions. Maybe it's best that he puts out a little tidbits out there. But I can understand him not giving out the farm, because then your opponents would use it against you, and that's just campaign strategy. So I mean, but he's definitely bit off a lot more than expected. I think when it comes to campaign time, that's going to be the big test. So is Polyev ready to sell Canadians on what his actual plan is? It'll be a big question in 2025.
Are you ready for an election, reporter Jason Gaidola?
I mean, I've done so many. I've done a fair amount of them where it's almost like, they are fun. It's like, if for the news station and the news cycle or the newsrooms, it's like our Super Bowl. Yeah.
There's weeks of planning. It's one night. Everything you want everything to go off without a hitch. Well, we might get lucky. We might get 2 elections.
We might, in
the next very near future. Hey, buddy. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Happy
New
holidays.
Year. Take care.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah. Cheers.
All right. Jason Gaidola. Still had Tessa Bennett going to be stopping by. She's talking about some of the beefs. And if you've watched the show, you know that we talked about a lot of the beefs, as well as we talked a lot of Taylor Swift. And I'm not sure how you feel about Taylor Swift, but we're going to put Tessa on the spot to find out how she feels about Taylor Swift. So we'll get to that in just a second. But I did want to get to some other news trending today, where in Germany, the deputy mayor of the city of Magdeburg says at least one person was killed and dozens were injured after a car plowed into a busy Christmas market in what authorities suspect was an attack. The German news agency DPA reports that Regina Dolores Steiler-Hinz said more than 50 people were injured when the car drove into the market. They say the driver of the car was arrested, and the attack came 8 years after an Islamic extremist drove into a Berlin Christmas market. They killed 13 people and injured others. All right, that's what's trending in the world today. What's been trending in this year? A lot of rap beefs, and to discuss that, for the very first time on the show, the Trending Now podcast, the new reporter on Trending Now, it is Tessa Bennett. Tessa Bennett, thank you for doing this.
Yes, thank you so much.
Sorry, I had to give you a little razzing there. Welcome, and welcome to the Trending Now team.
Thank you.
So for background, you had been a writer.
Yes.
So you had written for Trending Now since you've started, basically. But now you're joining the team full time.
Yes, I am. Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I've filled in periodically as a reporter, but this is literally my first week on the job, so it's been busy but fun.
Yeah, and you're really getting everything of just like what this job entails, and you knew it. Like when you're writing reels, you know you can go from some international thing that happened to some very pop culture-y bit. Like what is it about this show that for you as a journalist you find exciting, or a challenge, or something that keeps you engaged and made you want to take the job?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think both the exciting factor and the kind of challenging parts of it are both the same for me. Like, it's what made it so appealing. The ability to come in and be doing something completely different every single day. And, you know, as much as I do love local news and kind of things that matter in this community directly, it is also kind of fun to see, like, okay, what's trending in the world as a whole? You know, like, what is something that everybody's talking about that maybe they'd like to hear me talk about it for 3 whole minutes every night. So, yeah, I just love the variety.
Yeah. And like you said, it could be something that's world issues or major conflicts, or something, I don't know, is it silly? Let's talk about it. Kendrick Lamar and Drake. You've picked a side, clearly.
No, listen, I want to make this clear. this was convenient. I don't want to pick a side. I've spent so much time combing through this whole rap battle. It's insane.
Is it real? From everything you've done, the research, like, these are 2 multi-millionaires, 100 millionaires. Like, Is it real? Do you get the sense this is drama? Do these guys really hate each other?
Honestly, I kind of think it is real. Like looking at their history, they've kind of always been a bit rocky.
Yeah. Rocky ASAP?
Well, flip it. It's ASAP Rocky. But no.
Wow. I showed my age on that one.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
I'll clean that up. Okay, no.
Anyway.
Edit it. Okay, let's pick it up. Editing. Stop.
Nope. We're
ASAP
leaving that
Rocky.
in.
Yeah, speaking of Rocky, ASAP Rocky.
Yeah,
See?
No, yeah,
Smooth.
it's been turbulent, but it's funny. Like this whole rap battle that we've seen this year unfolding actually started just with like a single lyric that Drake put in one of his songs at the end of 2023 that was actually kind of a compliment to Kendrick Lamar. He kind of referred to himself, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar as the big three in the industry, and for some reason Kendrick Lamar was like, no, it's actually just me. You guys can just get lost. So it's interesting. And now, yeah, it's just been diss track after diss track. And then Drake took legal action in November. Like it's
accusing his own record label too, right? Aren't they signed by the same people? Like,
yes, they are. Yeah. So he accused Universal Music Group and Spotify of illegally boosting the streams of Kendrick Lamar's most popular diss track to come out of this, Not Like Us.
Which is nominated for a Grammy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
Grammy,
a good song.
It's Grammy nominated. Like the Grammy's getting involved on this, and Drake's won a few of those awards himself.
He has. He, I think right now is either tied with Taylor Swift for a record or close to beating her for a record of number of Grammys amassed. But yeah, and then, you know, Kendrick Lamar is doing the Super Bowl halftime show next year, so that's got to sting for Drake.
Couple of months that's going to be happening.
Yeah,
I know that because my Bills are on the verge of doing really well. I was wearing a hat earlier. I was going to wear just the hat, but because I put the Christmas sweater on, I decided to change it up.
No, that's fine because I'm not a Bills fan, so I didn't really want to look at that anyway.
All right, so you're saying that there's bad blood between Kendrick Lamar and Drake.
I like the transition.
And I say that because Kendrick Lamar is actually featured on a song called Bad Blood by Taylor Swift.
Correct.
She had a heck of a year. She did.
Yes.
She played 3 nights in Toronto. She played 6 nights in Toronto, excuse me. 3 nights in Vancouver to close it out. She was the biggest pop star in the world. She's got a hunky football playing boyfriend that throws her parties once the tour. The woman, she just seems like she was everywhere. Is 2025 the year we all move on from Taylor Swift, or do we double down and just make her a god?
I don't know if you can move on from Taylor Swift because, you know, as much as people have been saying 2024 is her year, and she has broken a number of records this year. I kind of think there's not been a year yet that hasn't been her year. I mean, she's been around forever. And it kind of feels like the Eras tour and everything that came along with that is only projecting her even further somehow.
Right?
She has a net worth. Yeah, no,
$1.6 billion.
Which is crazy.
It is my show. Thank you for letting me do that.
No, of course.
Glad you're catching on.
I want to be invited back.
Yeah,
so.
glad you're catching her on early. That's good. That's good. $1.6 billion.
And she's the first musician to reach that level exclusively from songwriting and performing, like not including.
Unlike Rihanna, who's married to ASAP Rocky.
Yeah, yes.
Look at me playing
Redemption.
pop culture bingo. Look at that. What do you mean? Redemption? I didn't mess that up earlier.
Oh, right.
We edited
it,
of
course.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you ready to move on from Taylor Swift?
Listen.
Whoa. She's going to put out a new re-release. We know that, right?
Yes, we're still expecting. I think there's still 2. I think it's her self-titled album and one other one. I don't want to sound like a fake fan.
No, I got a
but
there's
2. I know it's her self-titled album. Oh, and Reputation is the other one that we haven't been gifted a re-release of yet.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, she wrapped up the Eras tour, which was obviously a huge deal. She's been nominated for numerous Grammys for an album she released this year, The Tortured Poets Department, so that's going to be something to look forward to. She just celebrated her 35th birthday, so who knows? Maybe she'll take a bit of a break. Maybe we'll get a bit of a break from her.
She
hopefully
just
not too long.
Celebrated her 35th birthday.
Yes.
So I have 2.5 years to make $1.6 billion. Like, be anywhere close.
I have faith.
Thanks. I appreciate that. This podcast is about to blow up. It's about to explode. I've been doing it 1.5 years, but this is the year.
This is
2025. You know why? Because I'm going to have Tessa Bennett here every Friday recapping the week that was. Welcome aboard. It's great
Thank
to
you.
have you.
Thank you.
Great job on your debut on the podcast. I mean, I set a low bar for this show,
Well.
but you cleared it and then some. So congrats.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. My thanks to Tessa Bennett for joining me today, and my thanks to you as well, because we could not do the show without your support. I want to thank Mike Corsten for directing today's episode, not just today's episode, but the shows all throughout the year. On a personal note, it has been a fantastic year to get to sit here every Friday with you, but it's also been a year of challenges and struggles, so I'm wishing you all good health and the best in 2025, because that's really what it's all about. One more time, thank you. While you're here, make sure you like and subscribe to all of our various social media channels, including at Trending Now on X, Twitter, or YouTube. And while you're liking and subscribing, make sure to do the same for CHCH Podcast so you never miss an episode of this show or any of the other great shows we have for you, including a brand new episode of Sportsline with Bubba O'Neill, available now wherever you found this show. Have a great and happy, healthy holidays from all of us here at CHCH. I'm Louie Butko. Have a great day.